going to do a quick do-it-yourself 2.5-inch hose drill. A lot of the emails we get from people talk about how they're the only guy on their crew who might be motivated enough to get out and do some training, and it's certainly difficult to be that one guy. So I want to go over some things today with the 2.5-inch hose and show you some examples of how you can get some real high quality training out there by yourself with just a hydrant and some hose, not taking a rig out of service and not having to drag your whole crew out. Certainly if you get it done, they may follow, and all the better, but if you want to just improve yourself, here's a way you can do it with minimal impact on the rest of your station. Why we train with 2.5 is because it's the most efficient hand line there is. High volume flows, low friction loss, and overall staffing efficient, because we can deliver a whole lot more GPM with one line than we can with the two lines that would require out of 2 3/4. We'll talk a little bit about nozzles really fast. This is a nozzle that's in our standpipe kit. It's just a shutoff with an 1.1 tip, 250 GPM. On our cross leg 2.5s, we carry a stack tip of an 1.1 with an 1.25 bumper. So you can use the 250 or the 325 flow. And then we also have our play pipes, which come with a 3-tip stack, a 1 inch, 1.1 and 1.25. We leave the 1 inch tips in the compartment because if we're pulling a 2.5 inch hand line, there's really no sense in only flowing 200 gallons per minute. So with that, if we take the 250 GPM flow, our rule of thumb friction loss for 250 GPM is about 15 PSI per 100 feet. If we want to operate with the 1.25, our rule of thumb GPM loss is 20 PSI per 100 feet of hose. Today we're going to be flowing off of the hydrant so that we're not using a rig in service. I know that our hydrants typically flow about 80 pounds per square inch. So I'm going to use that to my advantage today to set up a handline evolution to flow 325 gallons per minute out of the 2.5 with 150 feet of hose. So we do our math. Hook up to the hydrant, we know it's 80 pounds. The first 100 feet is going to eat up 20 PSI of that. The next 50, another 10, that's 30 PSI for friction loss, and our target nozzle pressure is 50 PSI. So right in that 80 GPM flow, or 80 PSI pressure to get that 325 flow. Another way we can dial in the pressures on our hydrants is using an inline pressure gauge. This is out of our standpipe kit. We can attach this to our hydrant, shut down the line, flow it, find out what that static pressure is, and then if we wanted to adjust that pressure, we can do so with a simple gate valve hooked up, flow the nozzle, see what our flow range is, and then dial down the pressure using our gate valve just as we would in a standpipe to get our pressures in line with our nozzle demand. So it's a little rough on the delivery, but I want to show you that we can have effective training, just one firefighter, some equipment off the rig or off the hose rack, and a hydrant. Alright, so I just showed you a couple shots of the setup. We have the hydrant confirmed at 80 PSI. Again, we're running 150 feet of hose, 2.5 inch hose, and an 1.25 smoothbore nozzle. Gets us right to that 50 PSI target nozzle pressure. So we've got this set up. We want to take the most advantage of the opportunity we have right here with our handline drill out here by ourselves. Don't just worry about flowing water. Let's take the chance to practice advancing techniques. You can use a simple strap, rope, webbing, anything like that. Go ahead and fasten the nozzle closed. So that way it's not going to get bounced open and throw you around. By fastening the nozzle closed, we can then get gloved up, packed up, and start practicing some backup firefighter techniques. We all know that operating the nozzle isn't the only component of advancing a 2.5 inch hose line. It takes a lot of work, a lot of support. setting the hose up like this. Just as simple as getting out with a charged hose line and practicing our hose packing techniques. Getting good body position, using it to our advantage, pulling into our core, using that row technique to advance hose. You can get all the way down in a squat as if you had a doorway or something to assist you. Pressing your legs against the doorway, continuously rolling to advance the hose, using your whole body. Other ways we can help advance hose is by pushing. If we're at a corner, about to advance hose down a hallway, practicing good technique of S-ing the hose, so that way the hose matches each side of the hallway. One bend on the far side, one bend on the near side. Just pushing hose in an S technique. As that line advances, they'll be taking up the slack, and we can maintain a few feet of slack in that hallway. Okay, so now we're on to the 2.5 and flowing it. One of the greatest cop-outs is we don't have the staffing for the 2.5, and I disagree. We have the staffing that we have, and we have to figure out how to get it done with that staffing. I expect my crew to be able to operate a 2.5-inch hose by themselves if need be. We need to get a good exterior knockdown. Using the 1.25-inch tip as a single person is extremely effective as long as we practice good technique. The advancement is always the greatest challenge. I'm going to show you two methods for flowing as a single person. The first is the knee on the hose. It takes some getting used to find the exact point that you want. Once you get comfortable with it, it becomes second nature. It's right about the reach of my hand to the bail. I'm going to start by opening it up in the upward position so the nozzle reaction is forced down and I can lower it into position versus starting it against me. Up. And moving it into position to flow. Making sure that the bail is all the way open and flowing well. Puts me in a good spot, minimal body movement to get good movement out of the nozzle. And bring it back up to me to shut down. Always in a safe spot. The other position is just a good locked off position. One knee down, one knee up. I want to make sure I have a good solid point with this leg to take the energy from the hose into my hand, down my forearm, straight into my knee and into the ground. Really locking it out. I'm also going to pit the hose in my elbow so I got real good position. Again, bail at arm's reach. We want to make sure we have plenty of room if that thing starts to cheat back on us to shut it down. Hose or the nozzle at us takes a tremendous amount of body movement to move it. We want to use the length to our advantage and keep us safe. Nozzle out in front of us, arm's reach, good platform, locked in. Open it up, flowing 325 ppm as a single person. Shutting it down, get a little bit more solid with my base. Try to keep that reaction into my core. Lean into it and flow. I won't be advancing like this, but I'm flowing a lot of water really far out in front of me. So to answer the advance question, on the interior, we never should be operating alone. We're going to need a full complement of guys, at least a company, if not two, to help advance that 2.5 under fire conditions and in tight spaces. On the exterior, we can still be extremely effective as a single man on a hose line. I'm going to show you real quick the fingers through the bail technique, hose drag, position, setup, flow, shut down, advance, position, flow, and basically the hit and move tactics of a single person deployment of a 2.5-inch hose with the 1.25-inch tip. sure most of you are students of the profession and are well versed in 2.5-inch operations. These types of drill videos are something that we at the Fire Service Warrior are going to start to try to get more produced. So if you have any tips, if you like what you're seeing, if there's something that we can change or add, really we want to cover a wide range of people with this. We know that there's a lot of you out there operating alone or under short-staffed conditions. We also have a lot of brothers that have a lot of staffing, and for them they can throw manpower at the problem. We need to figure out ways to operate efficiently when we are understaffed. We also need to show that these high caliber lines can be put into service with good training, good potty position, and good study of the game. So take advantage of this, try to put it to work at your station, study your friction loss calculations, learn more about the hydrants and water supply in your area, and study your nozzles, what you're using, how you can be effective in your body position. Just get out there and do it. The only way to truly get better is to put it in your